right, you guys, this is episode 25 of War Stories. I just hit you guys with that one on Antioch. This is my second one. I'm going for the hat trick. And then I know there's some of you that are waiting for the Inner Demons. So it just depends on how long this one right here takes. And I'll try to get on the Inner Demons tonight, man. But if not, it's, we're almost there, man. I just want to try to catch up so that I get these out to you guys, man. But anyway, let me cut straight to the chase, man. So this one right here, it's actually one that when I first started doing war stories, it's something that I thought about talking about way back when I first started. However, I opted not to for the simple fact of, out of respect for certain people that I still communicate with. And it's all about affiliation, man. These guys are Crips, and shout out to the Crips. You cats know, man, you know what it is. Unfortunately, this was a situation that just ended up escalating that was personal. I got a lot of love and respect for Crips. I've worked with them over the years. It ain't nothing like that. It's just something that happened with these particular individuals that just, it is what it is, man. At the end of the day, when everything was said and done, I'm pretty sure everything was back on the up and up. But shit got funky for a minute. And I'm going to walk you guys through it, man. So the end of 2003, beginning of 2004, I'm going to say around that time, I had everything peaking out there on the streets. My regiment was up and running, probably at the best. At that time, everything was established. I had a limousine business that I was using to launder the money. I was cleaning the books, running the dope money through the business. I also had a counterfeiting operation that was going on. Then I had some other things that I was into as far as like robberies and shit like that. So I had a lot of different ventures that I was involved with that was generating a lot of money. So, being that I was a three striker, I had been walking on eggshells since around 1996. Being on parole and having that third strike like just hanging over me, there were certain things that I would not do, or I would try to avoid doing them, if at all possible. If I had to, then I would. One of those things at that time in San Jose was moving dope. I stood out like a sore thumb. I got Nuestra Familia tattooed across the back of my head. To law enforcement, that's like, basically saying, fuck you. I'm in your fucking, I'm in your city. I'm doing my thing, and you can't fucking touch me. So that tattoo got me a lot of fucking, it got me a lot of unwanted exposure, a lot of bad negative attention, man. So I was trying never to put myself in a situation where they could catch me dirty like that, man. Because every chance they had when they see me, they would pull me over. They pull me over and they play off my parole. We're gonna search the car, and that's how it used to go. So I had my runners. I had people that were dropping off dope. At that time, we were pushing about 30 pounds a month. Yeah, I know some of you haters, man, are going to be like, no way possible. Got all the police reports, man. I got all the fucking everything to prove it. I don't got to fucking sit here and lie about it. When you got 20 or 30 guys that are working under you that have been out there in the streets that sling dope, and these dudes were hand selected by me when I was doing my grunt work out there. Those are the dudes that I look for to recruit into my regiment. Cats that knew how to fucking generate money. Cats that were little ballers out there that used to push weight in the hood. Those are the motherfuckers that I went for. I didn't go after the slouches that were always broke, that just couldn't make no money. The motherfucker couldn't rub two nickels together for shit, you know what I'm saying? But those were the cats that I had. When you got like that many dudes working under you that are used to making that kind of money, collectively, it generates a lot of money. So I had like a couple cats, 2 or 3 of them that were good to sell like 1 or 2 pounds a week. Then I had some other cats that were good for like half pounds. Then I had my quarter-pound cats, all the way down, man, all the way down to ounces, 8 balls, and teeners, man. I had some fucking riffraffs like fucking Angel from Tulare County. That motherfucker couldn't sell a teener in a week because he just didn't have no hustle. That's just what he was. And besides that, he was probably fucking, I give him a teener, and probably by the time he got out there on the streets, he probably sucked half it up his nose, man. So anyway, collectively, together, it was a lot of weight. And when I say 30 pounds, that's a conservative number, man. I'm telling you guys right now, we were doing the damn thing. If I could have stayed out there for about another good year, the sky would have been the limit, man, because I was able to put a bunch of money aside within like a 2 or 3 week period and still generate tens of thousands of dollars and send it back to leadership in a short period of time. So if I would have had another year, man, I could have fucking, that was my objective, was to just stack a grip of fucking money and get the fuck up out of San Jose and keep the regiment going, but get the fuck out of Dodge and invest that money into a business or something, man. So my intentions were good, but you know how it is, man. Nobody ever lasts that long anymore. You're out there slinging dope. You're out there doing the damn thing. People are envious. People hate on you, and they tell on you. They get you out the fucking way, man. That's how it goes. Anyway, so there was some. So when I was living in Campbell, I was living in an apartment complex out there. This is around the time, all this happened right before I got into that shootout that you guys have heard about, at least most of you that have been with the channel for a while. I got into a shootout out there. Shout out to the Southsiders, to the Upstaters. They came and dumped on my spot, and we got it. It was like OK Corral out in that motherfucker, man. We lit Campbell up. So anyway, this happened right before that spot got blew up. So this apartment complex that I was living in, I believe in the beginning there was one cat and his lady that moved in. They ended up moving in. So there was one cat there. He was a Crip. I ended up finding out later he was a Crip. And some of you might even remember the story that I told about. So every day when I would come out of my apartment, I'd go out to my carport, and this cat would be sitting in a Civic with two of his other homies, like one be in the front seat, one be in the back seat, and they'd be in that motherfucker hotboxing, bumping their shit, right? And I used to see him all the time. I'd see him and I'd be like, what's up, man? You know what I mean? They'd like, hey, what's up, homie? Right? So one time, man, and this is how much money I was making. I was making so much fucking money. I was like a modern day motherfucking, a modern day, what do you call that motherfucker? What's that fool's name, man? Robin Hood. I was like a modern day Robin Hood, man. You guys can understand what I'm saying in a minute. So I was always I always had a fucking a fat knot of fucking money in my pocket. Just money was, I was making so much money, it was stupid, man. Pounds were going for $9,000 at that time. I'm busting up ounces for $750 or up to from $750 to $1,000 at that time, and they were going like hotcakes. This shit was, it wasn't no garbage, man. I used to get this shit from the Connect. Sometimes it would come in the tray, in a black tray with the fucking clear top, and it had plastic around it, right? But they were big ass shards that looked like ice that you get out of your fucking refrigerator. Clear ice. You could see through it. It wasn't no white shit, no dirty shit. This shit was crazy, man. People out there on the streets were loving it. They couldn't get enough. I was networking all the way up to Mendocino County, to Ukiah. Those Indians up there were fucking, they were loving it, man. Trading pounds of good weed for that shit. Anyway, so one day when I came out of my apartment, I was just feeling like I said, like Robin Hood, man. I felt generous. I used to walk by these guys sitting in their Civic, and they'd be hotboxing, man, and I just laugh at these cats, man, and you know, they weren't bumping no fucking, their system, they had a little bootsy ass system in that Civic. It was a nice little silver Civic, but the system was weak as fuck, because they weren't, that motherfucker wasn't vibrating. There wasn't no dyno mat in that shit. That shit was just old bootsy ass um factory deck, man. So one day when I went downstairs, I walked by and they were all in there smoking their weed and shit. And I knocked on the window. I'm like, hey, you guys, I see you guys blowing your shit right now, but you guys got a little bit. And they're like, yeah, what's up, man? I'm like, man, follow me, man. Follow me. I'm gonna take you somewhere and you're gonna be happy that you did, man. And they're like, where's it at? And I'm like, man, it's like 20 minutes out, just follow me. You know what I mean? You're not gonna be disappointed. So they're like, all right. So I jump in my fucking I think I had an Explorer at that time. I had my El Camino and an Explorer. So we mob out to I want to say that was it wasn't Milpitas, but there's an exit. I want to say it's something like Stevenson or something like that. So we get off on that exit. There is a small, well, it wasn't small, there was a good size place over there that installed custom car stereo equipment. They did the dynomat in the back, the custom boxes, drop down TVs in the headrest, all that shit. I did my El Camino, I did my Explorer, you know what I mean? I was getting ready to buy some other rides at that time, and I ended up taking them to that same place, and I had them flipped, man. They were hooking it up. So anyway, I take them out there and we go inside, and I tell the guy, I'm like, check it out, man. I'm like, hey, what kind of Civic you got? And he tells me, he's like, hey, it's a 1990 whatever. And I asked the guy, I'm like, look, man, how much would it cost to put a nice ass deck up in that motherfucker with the TV, right? With the TV. I want a custom box in the trunk, dynomated. You can put your best 12s in that motherfucker, man. Give me 6x9s on the doors, tweets, all this shit. Put some drop down TV, put a drop down TV. Put TVs in the headrest and TVs in the back window, just so you can fucking so you can front, man. You know what I'm saying? There's no purpose for having the TVs in the back window when you got like a two. There was only, yeah, that was in the Civic, all you had was 2 seats. You got the back seat, but there's nothing that you can put the TVs in. So just to put them in the back window is just, all you're doing is just fronting, man. Like, look at me, you know what I'm saying? So, but still, I told him, put them in the headrest, put them on the back behind the seat, and custom box, all this shit, drop down, a nice system in the front, DVD player, all this shit, man. So anyway, they ended up hooking it up. So about 7-8 grand. 7-8 grand for nothing. I hooked them up just based on the fact that they were my neighbors, and I used to see them out there just slumping, and I just wanted to look out for these cats, man. And it ended up turning into a cool little relationship after that. That kind of segued into everything I'm gonna talk about in a minute. So anyway, it took them a while for them to finish working on the car. So they all jumped in my ride, and we smashed back to Campbell, and I would end up picking them up later on that day when they were done. So they go pick their shit up, man. They flipped their shit. Their shit was they had so much slump in that little fucking Civic, man. It was crazy. The windows was vibrating, the hood was vibrating. The trunk, custom box, dynomated. They hooked it up, man. Them cats knew what they were doing. But them dudes were like, now, I mean, before they used to be in their car all the time, sitting there just kicking it. Now they were practically living in that motherfucker, man. They're down there watching Training Day, watching movies, kicking it, playing music all fucking day, man. Just I couldn't get them out of the car, which was cool, man. You know what I mean? I was spreading the wealth, looking out for them. There were some cool cats, man, up until some shit happened. But anyway, so they're from Seven Trees, and I'm not going to mention them by name out of respect for them. As far as I know, they're still active and they're still doing their thing. And just out of respect, man, whether they're active or not, it don't matter. It's just a respect thing. And other individuals that were involved, I'm not going to mention none of them by name either. There were people that were with me out there, and I'll just leave it at that. Anyway, so that, like I said, I hooked their car up and I basically told them, look, man, you don't owe me nothing right now. If you can pay me later, cool. I'm not really tripping, man. I'm not gonna hold you to it, but if you ever get on your feet and you start fucking balling, man, you know what I mean? Look out for me. And they were like, nah, man, we got you straight up, man. You know what I mean? Good looking, homie, right? So eventually, like I said, one ended up moving in that complex. Two other apartments opened up. So then two other ones ended up moving in. So there was like all together, man, there was probably like four. They had four apartments over there. They lightweight sold it up. They practically almost had one side of the complex that I was living in. So, you know, as time goes on, I end up developing a relationship with them, a friendship with them. You know what I mean? And you know, I start hollering at them about some of the things that I was into at that time, counterfeiting, moving the dough. Plus, you know, I had networked with Frisco. I was getting ecstasy, crack, all kind of shit, man. Weed, good weed too, man. Like I said, I was working with them cats up in Mendocino County, getting that good ass indoor, top shelf, fucking what do you call it? Dispensary shit, man. High grade shit. But anyway, eventually, you know, we end up talking about slinging some crystal, and I told him, you know, I got you guys, man. If that's what you guys ever decide you want to get into, man, I'm your plug right here. You know what I'm saying? As much as you want, whenever you want. I got some cool prices. You can make some good money. And this is what it is, right? So we talk about it, talk about the prices. Um, and they decided they want to start working with the regiment. So I mean, when I say working with the regiment, basically it was nothing more than just copping dough from us. It wasn't like they were really working with us. It was just copping dough, and that was pretty much it, man. So anyway, at that time, I don't know if I already said this or not, because this is probably like the third time I started this fucking video over. But at that time, man, you know, by 2003, 2004, obviously I'm already a three striker. I'm sitting on four strikes already. The robberies that I caught out of Frisco, some assaults and shit. So I'm sitting on four. I'm over the limit. If I get caught, they tag me one more time, it's game over. So I knew that. And I had been walking on eggshells since like around 2000, or since like 1996. So there's certain things that I wouldn't do out there unless it was absolutely necessary. You guys got to remember, you know, at that time, I'm running around out in San Jose with the Nuestra Familia tattoo blasted across the back of my head. And for law enforcement, I was basically saying, like, fuck you. You can't do shit to me. You know what I mean? It is what it is. I'm right here mashing in your fucking in your city, your town, wherever I was at that time, and you motherfuckers can't touch me. That's the way I was looking at it. I'll be honest with you guys, man. When I got that tattoo on the back of my head, a lot of it was because I wanted people to know who the fuck I was. So some of it was like, yeah, look at me, man. I'm an NF member. But to be honest with you, a lot of it too was because I was proud of who I had become. I was proud of the fact that I had become a carnale. Not only that, but also I had done a lot of shoot time up until that point. I was validated, and I was like, fuck it, man. Since I'm already validated, and they got me tagged as being a fucking an NF member, why not just go ahead and blast it on me? I might as well, man. I'm validated. They got it on the books. So that's what I did. I decided to get it done, man. Anyway, that tattoo got me a lot of bad exposure. It got me a lot of fucking negative attention. And you know, at the time, after I got off parole, they couldn't fuck with me. There's nothing they could do. I got my constitutional rights back. You can't fucking just come up and search me. But it didn't mean that they were laying in the cut to catch me slipping. And I knew it was probably just a matter of time before that was going to happen. Anyway, so these guys want to start working with me. And I turn them on to I got some crack, I got some crystal, and I give them some ecstasy. They said they can move all three of them. I believe I even gave them some powder, man. I had some good powdered cocaine that was coming out of Frisco, and I turned them on to some of that. So anyway, I set my prices. I let these cats loose, man, and they start doing their thing. They start generating some money. Like I said, there's a crew of them. There's like 6 or 7 of them in. You know, I know they got a big ass hood out there. It's not the whole fucking hood, but these cats, they were like a little crew of them that stuck together. They lived in the same complex, so they were doing the damn thing. Anyway, everything had been going cool, man. Everything had been going cool. They never came short. They were always, you know, whenever they would meet me somewhere, they always had the money. It was, you know, things were going cool, and it was a cool relationship, man. You know, I had the dope. They had some manpower. They had, uh, you know, the clientele out there to get rid of the shit. So, you know, for a while things were working out, man. But one day, one of the main ones that lived on he was one of the first ones to move into the complex, and he was kind of like, when I think back on these cats, he was kind of like their leader. He had a lot of influence within those cats. I was able to see it whenever I would see them interacting. He would say things to them, and kind of like he'd just be he was in a position of leadership. That's the impression I got. So one day they called me up, and they're like, "Hey, we need a pound." And you know, at that time, pounds were going for 9,000, and it was a little uncharacteristic because they weren't getting that kind of weight, man. They were picking up ounces and quarter pounds at the most. They had never got a whole pound. So, you know, it was a little uncharacteristic, but it wasn't out of the, you know, they were moving dope. They had been moving it for a while. So, you know, they were stacking their money. I knew at some point they were gonna start coming back for more. So they hit me this one time. They're like, "Hey, we need a P, man, a piezo." And I'm like, "Okay, but I ain't got nobody to drop it to you right now. So you guys gonna have to wait, man." And they're like, "Man, we need it right now. We got some people right here. We got somebody waiting that's got like 5 Gs, and then there's somebody over here that's got the other 3, and we got 2 right here." And so I'm like, "Man, I can't get a hold of my boy right now. I got nobody to bring it to you, man. And I don't know what to tell you, man. You guys can't come over here." And they're like, "Nah, man, these cats, this and that." I don't remember why, but they couldn't come to me, man. And so I was like, "Look, man, you guys know I don't move dope," because I had told them that before. You know I don't move dope, but I'm gonna do it for you this one time, man. When I strike through, have the fucking money. I'm not gonna come over there and waste time, um, you know, lollygagging, man. Make sure you get the money from all these cats and have it so that I can come down there. I can fucking tap in with you and get the fuck up out of Dodge, man. I don't like moving dope. You know what I'm saying? I'm a 3 striker. I already told you this before. So you know I'm going out on a limb for you. I told him, "Boy, have the money." I told him like 3, 4 times, man. So anyway, I get out there, and when I get there, he gives me he gives me some bullshit story about this over here, and I can't get that over there, and my bitch is supposed to pick this up, and she, you know what I mean, I can't get a hold of her. And I was fucking I was livid, man. I tore into him. I'm like, "Motherfucker, I told you, man, that I don't fucking move dope, but I did this for you. Didn't I fucking tell you to have the fucking money, man?" So I'm pissed off, man. I'm probably talking to him like, you know, I was probably out of pocket for talking to him the way that I did. That's how mad I was. I mean, I tore into his ass, man. And but we had we had developed a relationship to where they knew how I was. I was, somewhat of a fucking I was a hard individual, man. At that time, that's how I had to be. I wasn't a hard liner as far as with the homies. I pushed a hard line, but I was a fair motherfucker, man. You know what I'm saying? I work with you. But when somebody pissed me off, I get pissed off, man. Anyway, so I tear into him. I'm mad, man. Man, check it out. Don't fucking call me no more for no fucking dough. It's over. It's a wrap. You're done. I told you, man, not to fucking do no shit like this, man. I should have fucking knew. When you guys called me for a pound, I should have fucking knew. The red flag was right there, but I ignored it. I'm out of here, bro. And, he's trying to explain, and I smash off, man. I'm gone. So I ended up finding out like the next day or something through one of them. Their old lady used to know Vicky. They used to talk. They lived in the same complex. So she used to kind of, they used to talk, and she'd tell her some shit that was going on with them, and they just talk, man. So I found out that one of them was with this, she was like a homegirl. She was Mexican, and they were together. And I guess she was the one that was supposed to pick up some money or something the day that all this happened. And because I got mad at them and shit ended up just getting funky between us, man, they got on her and they broke her fingers. I don't know what the connection was, why they chose to break her fingers. Like, when you break somebody's fingers because they had their fucking hand in the bag or something, or they did something that they weren't supposed to be doing, like they took something, or I don't know, but they broke her fingers. And it was because of that situation. I found out about it. I was kind of pissed off, man. It wasn't like I threw my cape on and I'm Captain Saberho, but I was upset. Like, why would you do that? She's somebody that I used to talk to. She come through the complex, and like I said, she knew my girl. So when I found out about it, I'm like, man, that's some punk ass shit. You know what I mean? You motherfuckers are the ones that didn't have the money, but that's how you chose to deal with it. Well, I mean, at the end of the day, it's not my business, but it is my business. You know what I mean? It's one of them things, man. So when I found out about it, it's not like I went and jammed them up. I just, I made a mental note of it, and I was like, okay, it's even more of a reason why I'm not gonna fuck with these cats. Shit was just at that time. It was just, there was a lot of tension. There's like I said, there was at that time there was four of them living there, so there was always four there, but they used to bring these other cats up, so it was like 7 or 8 of them at times. And that's, you got 7 or 8 cats. They're kind of deep, but at that time, my apartment was like my office. Well, really, my El Camino was like my office. But my regiment would come over to the complex, and a lot of them would come to my carport, and they'd be out there. So there'd be like 20 or 30 of them out there. And whenever I'd have somebody come over and talk to me about business, a lot of the times I used to just tell them, just jump in my El Camino, jump in shotgun, and I used to clown and tell them, man, this is my office right here. What's up, bro? You know what I mean? And we chop it up. And so that the morning that some of this shit kicked off, I'm out there I'm fucking with my El Camino. I thought I'm gonna tell you guys straight up. I'm gonna go ahead and give you guys some fucking ammunition right now. I've done a lot of time in prison, obviously, right? So I don't always know what's the best thing. What I'm trying to say is I had a car, I had my El Camino, and I was trying to fix it up. And I remember seeing shit in magazines when I was locked up, man. If I ever get a car, I'm gonna do that. And so I'm thinking like my El Camino, it was a nice El Camino, but some of the things that I had done to it was like probably things that most of you wouldn't do. Like I put some 13s on it, some Daytons. That was cool. You know what I mean? But I got one of the most funky ass chain steering wheels and thought I was balling. Like the homies laughed at me like, bro, come on, homie. That's something you put on a lowrider bike, bro. You got a chain steering wheel and you think you're flossing, B? Man, come on, man. So anyway, they used to clown me about that shit. I ended up taking it out and I went and got me a nice wood grain fucking steering wheel, a nice one. My homie was like, bro, you want to throw this in there, bro? You know what I mean? Shit like that. Motherfucker, you had to put me up on game. But anyway, so I'm fucking with my El Camino that day, and the homies are out there, and a couple of them got their cars out there, and they're just chilling, man, and hanging out. And a lot of the times when stuff would be going on, I'd have them come over there, and we just kind of like we'd have a meeting, but it wasn't like we'd all get in a circle. I just kind of like use that area to keep everybody updated as far as what was going on and shit like that. So I'm fucking with my El Camino, and three of these cats come up. They come out there to the carport, and I was pissed off at that time at them. You know what I mean? I was mad, man. So they come out and they're like, "Hey, Box, what's up, man?" And I just look at them and I continue doing what I'm doing. I forget what I was doing, taking that steering wheel out or taking my seats out. I was always trying to do something to hook that car up, man. And dude was like, "What's up, bro? You ain't gonna talk to a motherfucker?" And I'm like, "Bro, you see I'm busy right now. Quit fucking talking to me, man. You know what I'm saying? I told you, man, you know, the other day, I'm not fucking with you right now, man. That shit that you did, I'm still pissed off about it. You know what I'm saying? I'm a motherfucking three striker. Probably was overreacting. I don't know, man, but I was pissed off. You know what I'm saying? Especially when I told the dude 3 or 4 times, man, to have the money. So he keeps on trying to talk to me, keeps trying to talk to me. And I get so fucking mad that I slam the car door and I spin up on him, man. And I'm like, bro, I told you to quit fucking talking to me. But when I swooped up on him, it's like my regiment just converged on them cats. Everybody just whoop, they just surrounded them. And they're like, one of the homies, he's like, hey, bro, take your hands out your fucking pockets. He grabbed both of his arms and he just pulled down. Keep your fucking hands where I could see him, man. And I had to like, hold up. Because they was about to get on him. They seen I was upset and shit kind of, I kind of got aggressive, or I moved towards them aggressively. So the homies were thinking like, the homies that didn't know what was going on were thinking like something's about to kick off. So they're about to go into effect on these cats, man. But I'm like, hold up. So anyway, that's when I found out that's right before that is when I found out that they had broke that female's hand. And no. Let me back that up. That didn't happen yet. So that situation happened, and I just told him, stop fucking talking to me and let it go, man. When I told you to stop talking to me, you should have fucking just listened, man. You know what I mean? And I'm like, man, hey, you guys need to just get up out of here, man. Right now is not a good time. I'll holler at you later, but right now is not a good time. So they took off. The because of I'm imagining, because the fight that they got in with the female, that she wanted to leave that cat, and I know it was wrong, but anyway, one day that female, she gets at my lady and she tells my lady, I'm trying to leave this motherfucker, but he's not giving me my shit. My clothes are stuck upstairs and I got a bunch of shit. He ain't even giving me my kid's shit. She's like, I don't know what to do. Can you ask Boxer if he can help me? And so I come, my lady calls me, I come over there and shit, and I'm like, what's up? And she's like, she tells me the same thing. My clothes are up there. I just want to leave this motherfucker. You know what I mean? She got her hand in the cast, and she's just like, I'm just trying to get into my apartment so I can get my shit. All my kids' shit is up there, their clothes. I ain't got no bottles or nothing for the baby. So I'm like, so what are you trying to do? You trying to get into the apartment? And she's like, yeah. I'm like, come on. So I walk up there with her and I kick the door open. I fucking kick the fucking door open and I walk away. I'm like, there you go. So because of that, somebody, I don't know who, but these guys obviously they got pissed off about it. And they know that they obviously found out that she went in the apartment and took her shit, but they're wondering how she got in. And I guess somebody else must have said something, or somebody in the complex seen and said something, but they told them that I kicked the door in. So, now there's some issues, man. They're pissed off now, which is understandable because technically I shouldn't have got involved in their business like that. That's between him and his lady. But at the time, my lady, she was like, hey, help her get her shit, man. You know what I mean? It was more so for my girl. I was just like, come on, man. I don't give a fuck. I'm pissed off at him anyway. So anyway, that situation right there just kind of like escalated all the tension between us. They were like, okay, so we're gonna rock like that, right? You just gonna kick my door in on me? You know what I'm saying? I would end up seeing them later. And it got to a point where, like, I had guns over there. I knew they had guns. And once shit had got to the level that it had gotten at, I didn't know if they were gonna try to fucking if they were gonna try to bust a move. I didn't know what they were gonna do. But talking to a couple of the homies, I was like, you know what? The best thing to do is probably just smash these dudes, man. Let's just smash them, run them up out of here, man. And at the time I probably should have handled it different, but that's the way I was looking at it, man. I was still kind of pissed off about what had happened, and now I felt like they were lightweight. They were a lightweight threat. They were posing a threat. So anyway, after that, after I ran into them, and they didn't jam me up, but they confronted me about it in passing. I'm walking by, going out to my carport, and they're coming through, and the main one that's, like I said, is kind of like their leader, just said, "Hey, that's how we're doing it now, right? We rocking like that. You gonna just kick my door in for my bitch?" It's like, bro, that was foul ball, homie. You know what I'm saying? And I look over at him. I don't say nothing. I knew I was wrong, but I felt like, hey, we even now. You know what I'm saying? What you did was wrong, and that's just it. It is what it is, man. So anyway, my plan was to get the one that was a leader and to get his homie that lived upstairs, to catch both of them cats slipping, take them cats somewhere, and I wanted to break old boy's hand the same way he broke the female's hand. You know what I mean? I had even grabbed a hammer, and I was like, let's snatch these cats up, bro. Let's take them somewhere. And I wasn't never thinking about killing them. It wasn't nothing like that. It was just I want to take him out somewhere, rough him up, and break his hand. So it never got to that point, man. It didn't get to that point. One of the other homies was like, B, man, think about it, bro. If we take them out somewhere and we do that, guaranteed you're gonna put them in a situation where they're gonna have to react to that. They're not just gonna accept that, homie. You know as well as I do that once you take it to those extremes, they're gonna have to react, and it's gonna be on, bro. And you know, me being the little homie, I don't feel comfortable with, you're living in this complex with these dudes, man. Think about what you're doing, bro. You know what I'm saying? And uh he was right. He was right. I wasn't thinking rationally, man. If a motherfucker somebody was to kidnap me, take me somewhere against my will, throw me in the trunk or throw me in the back seat or something, take me somewhere, you better kill me, man. Seriously, straight up, you better kill me, because if you allow me to get away from that situation, it's gonna be all bad. You know what I mean? And it would have been the same situation for these cats, man. But I would end up approaching the individual that had a little bit of influence, and I told him, look, bro, look, what you did was wrong. What I did was wrong. I'm not tripping no more, bro. You know what I mean? Where are we gonna go with this, man? It's either gonna go sideways and somebody's gonna end up getting hurt, or um, we're gonna let it go, man. Let it go and just just let it go. I'm willing to let it go, man. But if that's what you guys want to do, man, then it is what it is. I wasn't trying to go to war with these cats. I liked them. There were some good cats, man. And aside from the relationship I had with them, selling dope and working with them, homeboy had a little son that used to fuck, man. He had a little son that was about, no bullshit, this kid was about 2 years old. They used to let this kid roam around the complex. He was a little dude, no more than 2 years old, never spoke a word, but I used to see him, and he had a big old afro. He'd be walking around the complex, and I'm like, why would they let this little kid walk around by himself? Man, somebody could easily just pick that little kid up and take him. And he was my little partner, man. You know what I'm saying? I never even knew his name. Well, I probably did. They probably told me at one time, but like I would snatch him up and we take him and we go get him clothes, buy him all kinds of shit, man. And we used to hook him up. I used, they never used to really take an interest in that kid. It was crazy, man. His girl, I'm gonna just put it out there. His girl she was loose as fuck, man. Homeboy be gone. He'd be out doing his thing, and a lot of times, cats that were in my regiment would come over there and kick it at the complex, and she was somebody that door was wide open and like you could slide up in there, do your thing with her, man, and it was all good. She wasn't tripping like that. She looked decent. There was a couple of homies that I knew that slid up in her pad and knocked them down, man. She tried to slide. She tried to get me to slide up in there, man, but I was cool, man. You know what I mean? My girl lived at the same complex. I wasn't about to go there. Anyway, things ended up I never had a chance to continue working with them after that. I ended up getting into that shootout right after that situation. I ended up seeing them again in San Jose, like after I'd already bounced up out of that complex and I was living at another pad, and we were supposed to link back up and I was going to start fucking with them again because they wanted to start slinging dope. But I ended up getting raided, man. I ended up getting raided. I caught that case, and it was like this story right here was there's no real flash to it, man. It was just an incident that happened. It almost escalated, with my regiment and that hood, their hood, but it didn't. I came real close to kidnapping those cats, to taking them somewhere and doing something to them. But, the little homie, younger than me, wise little cat, used his brains and was the voice of reason. You know what I mean? I'll talk about another situation that happened around that same time again, probably right before that, where there was a homeboy that we did kidnap and we took him somewhere to a park out there. And this is something that's known. It came up in my case. I'm not going to mention the individuals that were involved because just out of respect for them. Again, one of them is in bad standings. I'm not sure if the other one's in bad standings, but one of them was in bad standings because I deemed him. And because of what happened between, him and my regiment, he ended up falling in bad standings. He went to the county jail. was in Brown, so it's not something that got fixed. His cousin ended up paying for his mistakes, and that's what ended up happening. I'll talk about that though. I don't know when. It's getting late right now. I might try to hit you guys with one more, try to get you guys in Inner Demons out. We'll see what happens, man. I'm probably not gonna do a live tonight. I want to try to get you guys out some more content. Again, it's slow going right now, man. Let me get my mojo back. With that said, this episode 25, War Stories. It's your boy B, man, and I'm out.